Question 30. The diagram shows two parabolas, y equals 4x minus x squared and y equals ax squared, where a is greater than 0. The two parabolas intersect at the origin O and at capital A. Part A. Show that the x-coordinate of capital A is 4 over a plus 1. The x-coordinate of point capital A is found by equating y equals ax squared with y equals 4x minus x squared. So we're going to solve for x the equation ax squared equals 4x minus x squared. Moving everything over to the left-hand side, we have ax squared plus x squared minus 4x equals 0. Factorising out x, we have x outside of ax plus x minus 4 equals 0. Now one of the solutions is x equals 0, which represents the x-coordinate of the origin. The other solution is found by solving ax plus x minus 4 equals 0. Adding 4 to both sides of the equation, we have ax plus x equals 4. Factorising out x from the left-hand side, we have x outside of a plus 1 equals 4, and a is greater than 0. And dividing both sides by a plus 1, we have x is equal to 4 over a plus 1 as required. Part B. Find the value of a such that the shaded area is 16 over 3. The shaded area is the area enclosed between the two curves y equals ax squared and y equals 4x minus x squared. For the sake of explanation, let u equal 4 over a plus 1. We want to solve for a the equation, the absolute value of the integral from 0 to u of ax squared minus 4x minus x squared in brackets dx equals 16 over 3. Now the absolute values here ensure that the value of the integral on the left-hand side cannot be negative. Expanding the brackets, we get the absolute value of the integral from 0 to u of ax squared minus 4x plus x squared dx equals 16 over 3. Collecting the like terms in x squared, we have the absolute value of the integral from 0 to u of a plus 1 in brackets multiplied by x squared minus 4x dx equals 16 over 3. Integrating the left-hand side, we have the absolute value of a plus 1 over 3 in brackets multiplied by x cubed minus 2x squared from 0 to u equals 16 over 3. Now when x equals 0, the left-hand side equals 0. And when x equals u, we have a plus 1 over 3 u cubed minus 2 outside of u squared. Of course, we continue using the absolute value sign there. And that equals 16 over 3. Now substituting 4 over a plus 1 for u, so we're going to substitute out the u and substitute in 4 over a plus 1. We have the absolute value of a plus 1 over 3 in brackets multiplied by 4 over a plus 1 all cubed minus 2 outside of 4 over a plus 1 all squared equals 16 over 3. Now expanding some of these brackets, not all of them, we're going to leave the a plus 1 all squared intact. But what we can see here is we have an a plus 1 in the numerator, but we have an a plus 1 all cubed in the denominator. Now 4 cubed is equal to 64. The 3 is here, so that remains in the denominator. But we have an a plus 1 in the numerator here, but we have an a plus 1 all cubed in the denominator here. So there'll be some cancellation. So we'll end up with 64 over 3 outside of a plus 1 all squared. That's the simplification of this term here. Minus 32 over a plus 1 all squared, which is a simplification of this term here. So expanding part of the bracket here. So we're leaving the a plus 1 all squared intact here as well. And that equals 16 over 3. Now multiplying both sides by a plus 1 all squared. Now a plus 1 all squared cannot be negative. So we have the absolute value of 64 over 3 minus 32 divided by 16 over 3 equals a plus 1 all squared. So there's kind of two things happen there. We divided both sides by 16 over 3, but we multiplied both sides by a plus 1 all squared. So that is shown here in this step. Now taking the square root of both sides, we have a equals the square root of the absolute value of 64 over 3 minus 32 divided by 16 over 3, but then we minus 1. And that's taking this plus 1. So after we take the square root, this plus 1 moves over to the other side after the square root and becomes minus 1. Now what's under the square root sign there, the absolute value of 64 over 3 minus 32 divided by 16 over 3 is in fact equal to 2. So therefore, a is equal to the square root of 2 minus 1.